So in the early 1970s, I was you. Don't figure out how long ago that was. I was an electrical engineer. I had done engineering for 5 years. I started to get into finance. I had a large power company, and all of a sudden I realized I should go and get an MBA because I actually liked finance. And the good part was, logistically, there was this school downtown, not here, called Stern. It wasn't called Stern at the time. It was called GBA, actually, part of NYU, and that's where I got my MBA. So I've been, quote, hanging around for a long time. And I understand a lot of the questions you have in the back of your mind, and we'll come back to that at the end. Now, what I heard Robert talk about was a department. Finance department's ranked at the top of the world, if you haven't looked at the statistics yet. And what I heard Stin talk about was he started getting granular about a specific sector, real estate, which is red hot. If you're not up to speed on MBA land, red hot. Finance, maybe a lot of people are throwing some sticks and stones at it lately because it's a very cyclical industry, and when the market turns down, everybody thinks it's going away. It's never going away. Robert kind of hinted at this. Finance is the center of everything, and hopefully in 10 minutes I can show you what I mean by that. Let's give you some examples. I'll get granular with respect to a course. I teach a course called Investment Banking. Robert and I always fight over that because I want to change the name to the financial service industry. And the reason is it's gigantic in terms of everything that it touches. And the way I teach it is I teach it for everyone who goes to Stern. I don't teach it for just finance majors. So if you're in luxury goods or you're in IT or what have you, a lot of people take my course. And the real reason is it's a general course, it's an overview course, it's a survey course. And when you come out of it, you learn how all the different parts of this finance thing connect. Robert and his brilliant academics literally teach you the very granular in terms of the mechanics, which obviously is necessary. The purpose of my course is to kind of get you smart on how the whole thing works, and then you start getting interested in different aspects of it. Private equity, hedge funds, investment banking, commercial banking, whatever. Let's give you some examples. One of the things I like to do when I teach is to say to people, I'm going to teach you how to read the newspapers, how to read Bloomberg, the .com sources, the way I read them. Meaning what? So I read yesterday that there's a city in the United States, Stin's very much up to speed on this, called Detroit, which is bankrupt. Had a major real estate problem. It basically has a large single industry benefits problem. Meaning what? They can't pay the police and firemen. How come? Because they have a defined benefits plan. If you don't know what that is, we'll teach you, number one. And number two, it doesn't work anymore, kind of, sort of. And as a consequence of that, they don't have the money because there's no tax base, because the real estate market collapsed, because everybody left. All the auto workers work in Canada now because the health benefits are cheaper. Starting to get the idea? We call that asset management. Is that important? I heard Stin say something that you didn't listen to enough, I bet. There's 3 billion more of you when you're my age. 3 billion more. What's Bill Gates' favorite personal project? Favorite. You're going to say screens for malaria. One of them. His favorite personal. I think he has a $30 million award for whoever invents it. A waterless toilet. How come? Think of all the things it solves. Where are you going to get the water for 3 billion more people? I never thought about that. Well, for you engineers in the room, start thinking about it. You already have a problem with the oceans. Think of all the diseases you would cure if you had one. Well, I never thought about that. We'll teach you to think about that. How come? Because it's pretty important. Ties in with benefit plans. Oh. I also heard that President Obama, sorry, was on the phone yesterday with the new president of Iran. Right. So here's an interesting example of what might happen. He might call his friend Jeff Immelt, who runs GE, and he might say to him, guess what? What? The president of Iran and I talked yesterday. He wants to build a dam. What? Wants to build a dam in Iran. They need the electricity. Okay. We make turbines. Yeah, we know how to do all that kind of stuff. Well, here's the problem with that. And we'll teach you this. Would you give $100 million from your bank to finance that dam? What do you mean? What's the political risk? What's the credit? What's the construction risk? Are there environmental problems in Iran? I don't know. We'll teach you about that. How come? Because GE would probably build the dam. And that's called infrastructure financing. We'll teach you all about that. You have to know corporate finance. You have to know foundations of finance to do the basic, to start figuring out the decisions. Oh, I never thought about that. Well, think about that. It's important. You work at MetLife, right? You're frustrated. Oh, I hate my job. Right. You're not thinking. How come? You're Asian. So what? What's the hottest area of MetLife in the insurance business now with respect to people who have the indigenous language skills and the cultural skills? Well, I don't know. That's why you come here. Meaning what? Benefit plans. What do you mean benefit plans? They don't have them in Asia. We'll teach you why. They will have them in Asia. Who's selling them to Asia? American companies that developed them over the last 100 years that have the expertise. So the hottest area, the easiest place I can get you a job so you can have one of the best careers is steering you in that direction. Gee, I didn't know that. That's why you're here. That's what we do. Yeah, but I thought you taught investment banking. I teach most of the people that take my course not to be investment bankers. How come? Because that business is changing, it's shrinking, it's tearing itself apart. It's not going to go away, trust me, but it's evolving. Real investment bankers today are probably more of the private equity, the big Blackstones and the KKRs than the Citibanks. They're banks. Goldman Sachs is a bank. Oh, it's evolving. And as Robert pointed out, we've got a lot of geniuses walking around here advising people as to what the future is going to look like and how to fix it. That's pretty cool. Absolutely. There are a lot of things you need to think about in the future if you're a money manager. Meaning what? Well, if there's 3 billion more of you, there are going to be a lot more rich people. Right. One of the things we'll teach you here is this whole thing called private wealth management. Most of you don't even think about it. What is it? The richer you are, the more you need somebody to help you with your money. How come? You don't think Steve Jobs ever spent time looking at the price of his stock on the screen, do you? He's paying somebody $30 million a year to do all that stuff. What does he do? He invented Apple products that you all use. Bill Gates is saving the world. He doesn't look at the screen to see what the price of GE is. Money managers do that. That's why you come here. Why? We'll teach you the skills. That's part of what we do. It's incredibly important. You're running Prada. Oh. You're into leather. Oh. You're not into finance. How come? Finance is boring. For you. But it's not for us. So you hire a Stern graduate to be your treasurer, your CFO, etc. Meaning what? Everything has a finance component. Everything. Slide. This is a slide I use in my course to get granular on the course. Everything in my course relates back to this slide. And what I say to students is by the time you're done, you'll actually understand the way I think about this whole finance thing. And the better you are at it, the more of these you can connect to talk about a thought process. Meaning what? I may ask you a question and you may put 2 of them together. The person who gets the A may put 6 of them together and say this affects this, affects this, affects this, affects this. When we talk about politics, we have a lot of fun. I just referenced the president. The president loves investment bankers. How come? One, they contribute money to campaigns. But 2, investment bankers and bankers solve problems. Like what? Like where are you going to get all the money for the dam? Who's going to manage wealthy people's money? Who's going to manage your money? Think about this. The school next to, or actually we're in the building. The undergraduates go to school in this building. Stern undergraduates, right. Here's an interesting factoid for all of you to think about. For the young ladies I teach who are 20 or 21, right, 80% of their daughters will live to be over 100. What? Want me to say it again? 80% of their daughters will live to be over 100. How are they going to support themselves? Well, I'm going to marry a rich guy from, no. Let's get serious. They're going to work till they're 93? How's that going to work? What do you mean? I'm part of what we call the sandwich generation now. Meaning what? Because of the financial crisis, my generation's supporting a lot of parents, maybe even a few grandparents, who lost an incredible amount of money. And maybe we're supporting our children because they can't get jobs because that's still recovering. So we're sandwiched. Oh, you got to start thinking about that kind of stuff. How come? It'll affect you. It's only going to get worse as time goes on unless you fix it. What you learn here and what we try to teach you, obviously, is how to solve problems, as Robert said. How to think differently. How to think like myself, like Stan, and like Robert. We think differently than you do right now, okay? We'll help you think about that career decision that Robert alluded to. Never think about a job, think about your career. What do I want to do for the rest of my life? I wanted to do something associated with finance. It didn't matter what job I was in. We had a speaker here from Google about a year and a half ago. He was with Eric Schmidt, the chairman at the time. The guy was phenomenal. He was an expert on terrorism. I watched the speech twice, and the reason was he hit this point on careers that I never actually had thought about before, but it was so obvious. And someone said to him, well, you work for Microsoft, and you work for this, and now you're working, you work for the president, and now you're working for Google. That's pretty weird in terms of a career. And he said, no, it's not. It's perfectly logical. And they said, why? He said, because my career is terrorism. I'm an expert at it. So it doesn't matter where I work as long as I'm doing the work. That's my career. That's how we feel about finance. It's very exciting, it's very interesting, and it affects and it touches everything. So one of the things we're going to do for you, hopefully, will make you think differently. We'll make you understand the different career paths, okay? If you're a systems analyst now, okay, and you're working for a pharmaceutical company out of New Jersey, and you come in my office 2 years from now, all right, and you give me the, professor, I listened to your lecture, and I gotta work in M&A at Goldman Sachs. You got me so pumped up. I'll throw you out. Robert has the unfortunate pleasure of working near me. So he hears me throw you out constantly. Get out! What did I do wrong? It's never gonna happen. Get real. Yeah, but I really like M&A. Great. Where do you work? Large pharmaceutical. Fine. Figure out how to get in strategic planning. That's M&A. Oh. You don't have to leave the company you're in. Figure out how to use it. The easiest job is inside. The easiest career is already where you are. Well, I never thought that way. Start thinking that way. Yeah, and of course you can change too in terms of your direction. We'll teach you how to think differently. We'll teach you how to think about a career. We'll give you the skills necessary to do that. We'll put you in with all kinds of people who have all kinds of diverse backgrounds, which is part of your education. We'll bring in outside speakers. It's a really cool thing. That's why you pay so much money to do it. It's a reason to create, the infamous cliche, and it is an inflection point in your life. You get an MBA, I'm hiring you, and I used to hire a lot of you when I used to be an investment banker. If I see the MBA, okay, you obviously did that for a reason. You want to do something different. Well, you want to change the direction of your career. We'll help you do that, which is what this is all about. And that's why you come here. Great school, great faculty, out of sight in terms of where it's going. The first global university has been alluded to.